What's going on? This is Axcella back for a second video. For this one, I want to talk about a couple of things. First, some of the constructive criticism and comments that I received on my first video, or lack thereof. Um, Second, some of the extensive changes to the Hunter class this patch. And third, the 4.2 updated um, shot priority or rotation or whatever you'd like to call it for single target and multi AoE target encounters. So the first comment that I want to talk about, and I hope I was able to improve on because I am recording this differently, is my mic quality. I got a bunch of mic quality was a little shaky, and yeah, I admit I guess it was the volume was a little weird, and I guess the way I was speaking in certain parts sounded a bit disjointed because I did the whole thing like 17 different times and I just sort of mashed them together as best as I could. Pretty much because nothing wanted to cooperate with me. I use the program I use, Pinnacle or whatever. It decided that it wasn't going to be nice to me, and then Audacity didn't like me, and a whole bunch of other things didn't like me. So I decided, screw that. I'm just going to record a voiceover and put it in Windows Movie Maker. Hopefully for this video that all gets fixed and I can make everything wonderful and extremely pretty again. Um, and then there were a couple of other comments. Maybe somebody can explain them to me. I don't think so, but maybe. Which made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Um, First, Arena is PvP dumbass. I don't know what that person meant. That was extremely constructive, by the way, to whoever that was. Maybe he referred to my title. That's the best I got because it said PvP PvE. But that's what's supposed to be in the title, and the channel isn't only PvP. It's also PvE. So leave me alone, whoever you are. And then the second one, my favorite, which maybe somebody can explain this to me, is I'm not gonna mention names, or I'm sure you could go, you know, look through my last video. I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but whatever. This person decided to write to me. You really seem like you're trying hard to promote why your videos are great. Well, I'm certainly not going to try to make them seem bad. That would be kind of stupid. And then he says, people like watching spam kill shot. I don't know any of them. And that's why most people that do that are popular. I'd like him to name 5. That comment, I don't think that helped me at all. That wasn't constructive. I'm not making a video about going around spamming Killshot. Flying around Stormwind is much, much more interesting. Um, anyway, that's it for that part. That little portion of it. I'm going to the next part will be about changes and the rotation. I'm not going to do that now. Basically because it's patch day. Lots and lots of things are broken. Classes are broken. My UI is broken. Half the game is broken. So before I actually go into like showing things and actually doing damage to things or whatever, I'm gonna wait a couple of days until everything is sorted out and everything's not like all in shambles. Waiting for a random dungeon queue, and I figured I would get to my next part on my list of things I'd like to cover in this video, and I will make this fast because this could be rather boring depending on who you are watching this, and it is the Hunter changes in the patch. And it's usually kind of important to go and look through and read things and be like, ooh, that's fun, that's different, and sometimes it's not fun and different. This is an example. So I'm just going to go through them right now. The first change, and I'm going to read these off the website. Multi-shot was doing too much damage in PvE. Nobody uses it in PvP unless they're dumb, given the fact that it was too simple to use. So, too easy to spam, did too much damage. Hunters, goodbye. You can't use too much of that anymore. Well, you can still use it the same exact amount, I guess. It just doesn't hit as hard. And it's not, like, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but it's not a big nerf, so it's not too big of a deal, and it's just trash, so who cares? The next thing, which is sort of the most substantial nerf. It was careful aim allowed marksman hunters to do too much damage in PvE raiding, where the 80% health phase could last for a long stretch of time. So it was too much. They decided, 90%. So they just changed it. They bumped it up 10%, and it's not like an oh my god, I don't do any more damage on a boss. Like, depending on the fight, depending like in longer fights, bosses with lots and lots of health, you will notice a small DPS decrease. But you know, just generally speaking, especially in like heroics or whatever, if you have some good RNG, you might do better than you were doing before with the same gear. It's not anything. It's not anything to get nervous about. And then the last part, to make up for that, they increased the amount, actually a lot. It was like something like 40%. They increased the amount of damage that Black Arrow did. Now, 40%, oh my god, that's a lot. It says Black Arrow, it does, 11,000 or some odd DPS. I mean, it does that much damage while it's up. I don't know exactly the duration, 15 seconds. So I mean, yes, it's nice. It's not incredible. Don't go. I mean, survival is not bad right now. Survival can do lots and lots of damage, but don't just say, "Oh my God, 40% buff one ability, must respec." Look at your gear, look at your character, plug it in the spreadsheet, and probably during this random, I'm going to do the final part of my video. So I decided against waiting for the heroic to do the single target DPS rotation. I'm just going to do that now. This is going to cover a very general rotation. The rotation is tweaked. You'll have to read up on it for your character and for your gear, depending on how much haste you have. They have these things called haste plateaus, and it's not incredibly different. But if you want to be perfect and have, a rotation that is optimized exactly for your character for each fight and no things like that, then I suggest looking that up. And this is fantastic. Here is my dungeon queue. So I'm not going to do this video now. Great. So here we are from the jungles of Zolaman. You'll see, I just wanted to start with this opening AOE pack here. That wasn't really perfect because it was the first pull and I was just starting up the video. But basically, to demonstrate your multi-target DPS rotation, I will go through a couple of pulls and some of the different things that I do. It's not very complicated, but as you see there, I started poking one target, which is okay. Throw a Serpent Sting up before they all get there. And then you basically want to use your trap launcher, and glyphing for it is cool to save focus. It's a good major glyph. You use your trap launcher, throw an explosive trap, and then you begin to spam spam your multi-shot, and don't pull the things and make groups mad like I almost did there. Then you spam your multi-shot, and then you spam your steady shot to get focus back. While you're spamming steady shot, you may get the instant aim shot proc if you're doing this long enough, or if the pull is really long. You want to use that pretty much as soon as you can. There goes my pet. He died. I'm probably a pro and have growl on or something. But yep, see, there it is. I use that. I'm running, and I don't want to switch aspects. A kill shot is good. Kill shot still does lots and lots of damage, depending on the amount of things there. It could be better if you only have like 4 or 5 things, like I now have. It could be better to throw one of those in if you're really trying to, maximize your damage on multi-target pulls. But that's pretty much all there is to it. If you're moving around like this, it's really sort of dumb to randomly throw traps all over the world, and especially like I just did, hitting the wrong button, put the ice trap down. That does lots and lots of damage. But there it is. There's the multi-target rotation. So here we are at the bird boss. Doesn't really have much to do with my video, but this tank is a pro and pulled the boss before half the group was there. This is an example of what not to do in this instance, because yes, it does lock you out, and you are going to die from the things. I mean, it's not even worth moving. No matter where you are in the instance, you're going to get hit with this stuff, just as a little reminder. So I decided to do the single target rotation portion of the video in a more controlled environment than on a boss, because I tried it and the mic quality didn't come out too good, and I wanted to try to do something different, which I'm doing now. Tell me if it works. And and it's just very, very crazy. There's lots and lots of things going on. There's lots of movement, and I didn't really think it showed. Um, at least it didn't show too well. The more technical portion of the more technical portion of the rotation or shot priority thing or whatever you want to call it. Now remember, this will change slightly depending on gear and spec and other such things, but you'd really have to read up on that for your specific character and your gear. But this, just for the sake of time, and this, I do apologize for the length. I'm gonna work on that. Hopefully I won't have to take too much out. But anyway, here it goes. So basically, for a hunter, you have really three different portions of the fight. The first between 90% and or 100% and 90%, 90% and 20%, and then 20% and 0. For the first portion of the fight, in order to take full advantage of your careful aim, which is this is the ability that the talent that did get nerfed, but it's still perfectly nice, and you do change your rotation to take full advantage of your pretty much 100% or very high crit chance for aim shot. That's pretty much what you do in that phase. What many guides will tell you to do is to put up Serpent Sting, and then you spam aim shot until you don't have any focus. You put 2 steady shots in between in order to keep up improved steady shot to get some haste, and then you use well, that's not the right way to do it, but anyway, you would put up 2 steady shots, you use your aim shot, and then you only use Chimera shot to refresh your Serpent Sting. In many boss fights, especially in heroics, that's not necessary. The boss will be below 90% health, and then you can start on your normal rotation. You also want to use the instant aim shot procs when they're up. Just one more quick side note that I forgot to mention throughout the whole video somehow. Reaching 100% focus, especially in raiding, is evil. You want to avoid it at all costs. Good hunters, unlike myself, they go into their beast mastery tree, and they put on kill commands somewhere on their bars where it's easy to access, even if you have to freaking click it. Because if you're in a boss fight, you get feared something, you're all the way on the other side of the world, and you can't touch the boss. It's good. It does, even no matter what spec you are, it does a lot of damage. It's a good way to dump 40 focus if you're not gonna be right on top of the boss. Anyway, that's the first part of the rotation. So remember, Serpent Sting, aimed shot until you have no focus, then steady shot twice in order to get the haste, and then use Chimera shot if necessary to reapply Serpent Sting. Now for the next part, which is the 90 to 20% phase. There, basically, what you want to do, essentially, and there are different ways to do it, is you want to keep your focus as high as you can without ever hitting 100. And the way to do that, while doing the most damage, let's say, is, and again, it can vary. It can vary with gear. Is you would manually, or your Serpent Sting would still be applied, but I'm going to manually apply it. Then you're going to hit Serpent Sting. Then again, you're going to steady shot twice in a row, and either use arcane shot or aim shot to dump your focus. Now, it is debated, but in lots and lots of places, if you just look on Google, you'll find stuff about it. Technically speaking, if you use aim shot as your focus dump ability, and you can always have enough focus to use Chimera shot when it's off cooldown, because you don't want to be like, okay, I use Chimera shot, now I'm just gonna like spam and spam and spam arcane shot, and then maybe I'll steady shot once because I'm bored, and then I'm gonna spam arcane shot, and now, oh no, look, now Chimera shot's off cooldown and I can't do it. Oh no, that's bad. I'm not doing as much damage. Oh no. Okay, so you don't want that to happen, and then Serpent Sting freaking falls off, and you have to reapply it, and it's just terrible for your DPS. So basically, you use Arcane Shot or Aim Shot as needed. Aim Shot will do more damage if you can figure out how to manage it properly, and you also cannot move because as soon as you start breaking aim shot casts to move, you're going to do less damage. So quick recap, you apply your Serpent Sting, then you Chimera Shot, then you do aim shots as necessary to keep up your focus, always two in a row, and then you want to stay as close to 100 focus as you can without ever hitting it, because hitting it is freaking evil for your DPS, by using either Arcane Shot or Aim Shot. Now the last portion is pretty much the same thing, and I can't demonstrate it obviously on the Heroic Training Dummy because I'm not going to be able to DPS the Heroic Training Dummy down to 20% health. But in that phase, you would just add your kill shot pretty much to the top of your rotation. In some, like if you use a spreadsheet with your character, I have seen it where it's sometimes better to Chimera Shot, especially if Serpent Sting is going to go down and you still have, it's a boss with a big health pool. Then sometimes it's better to use Chimera Shot there and then use Kill Shot. But again, you'd have to play around with that a bit. Well, that's it again. So apologize for the length. And the first part may have been a little bit dumb, but I really hope not. I really hope people enjoyed it. Tell me what you're thinking. Thanks for watching.